Hey, comic lovers, EMoney, the old man, and Thor the Dog of Thunder here with you again. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. You enjoying this nice weather? Yeah? Hope you enjoy it, because next week it's not going to be like this. Alright, so this week, what do we have going on? Well, I have some interesting news to share with you guys. News about the upcoming Flash movie. Some news about the future of the MCU concerning a Mr. Chris Evans. And then, I have some Game of Thrones news to share with you. Then, we have comic reviews and previews. We're going to give you guys a little preview of what you can expect at this week's pop-up comic shop. Like the one right behind us.
This mess.
Yeah. And we are unboxing our, let's see, this is June, our June boxed heroes. All right. Well, I name you Grand Inquisitor. Nah, I'm just kidding. You're not Grand Inquisitor. This is Back Issues. Alright, so before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on your notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of some of the news I'm about to share with you, or you can give us some comic book recommendations, or tell us how much you love Thor. Yeah? Would you like getting some fan mail, Thor? Yeah?
He gets more fan mail than I do.
Alright, so as everyone knows, Captain America star Chris Evans has passed the shield on to the next generation. But a recent interview, Evans revealed that he may not be done with the MCU just yet. In an interview to promote Lightyear, Evans was asked about possibly returning as Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch in the MCU.
Yeah, old Johnny Storm.
Yep. And he said, "Wouldn't that be great?" No one's ever talked to me about that. I mean, I don't exactly look the same anymore. That was 15, almost 20 years ago. But I do love that character. Yeah,
Sure.
look, I would love it. I would love it.
No.
That would possibly be an easier sell than me coming back as Cap.
No, they brought him back in the comic books. They can bring him back in the MCU. They just don't want to, or he doesn't want to.
Well, you know, Cap is so precious to me, and I almost don't want to disrupt what a beautiful experience that was. But Johnny Storm, I feel like he never really got his day. That was before Marvel really found its footing. I would really love that role. So I really love that role. So who knows? So he's open to the idea. No telling if Evans will be back in the MCU as Cap or the Human Torch. But you can see Chris Evans on Netflix coming up in a spy thriller, The Gray Man, due to drop on July 22nd.
I think that'll be the only time I get to see him, because he's not going to be in the MCU as the Human Torch unless they do a age them forward thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Human Torch should be a teenager, early 20s, something like that.
well, I mean, if in that universe he's, aged just like any other person would, and then, they, cross into the multiverse, he's gonna be whatever age he is,
So Reed's going to be 50.
I mean, can't Reed make himself look whatever age he wants to?
True.
All right, so next up we have a story from the world of Game of Thrones. So for many people, Game of Thrones' final season was a bit of a letdown. From with the fate of Daenerys Targaryen to who ended up sitting on the Iron Throne, the feelings were really divisive. So that resulted in an endless stream of petitions for them to do the final season over again. Now, I just imagine that happening, like, HBO making a press announcement saying, hey, we're gonna retcon the entire final season. So, all that work on all those millions of dollars we put into those final episodes, those never happened, and we're gonna do the whole thing over again. You imagine them saying that? No. Yeah, not gonna happen.
Not going to happen.
But what many fans might be excited about as a alternative or a compromise to redoing the final season, there is talk that you okay? You okay, buddy? Yeah? There is talk that a Jon Snow sequel series is in the works at HBO.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So the story would tell the Westeros story of Jon Snow, aka Aegon Targaryen, and should the series become a reality, Kit Harington would reprise his role of Jon Snow. The last time we saw Jon was at the end of Season 8, with him returning to the Night's Watch and left Westeros behind after killing Daenerys. So there's lots of stories,
Spoiler alert!
Lots of places the story could be taken. And it would obviously be an original story because George R.R. Martin still hasn't finished the Song of Ice and Fire saga, which brings me to my regular message to George R.R. Martin. Finish the damn book!
Never happened. He's a son of a gun.
There's no word on who would be involved from a creative standpoint for the new series just yet. All right, and that brings us to our final story. The Flash is finally back on track for its 2023 release. However, Barry Allen's standalone adventure has been mired in controversy due to its star, Ezra Miller. The actor has been the subject of serious allegations throughout the year, and Warner Brothers has yet to publicly acknowledge it. Fans have long speculated that the studio's potential choices regarding Miller, ranging from them firing The Flash before its release or removing him from any future projects altogether.
I think he's going to have a hard time getting future projects with them.
Yeah, they're not really happy with him.
As they shouldn't be.
No.
You got the world on the end of a string. It's all yours.
Yep.
And then you go do stupid stuff. I don't get it. I don't.
So Warner Brothers CEO David Zarloff says, "There is no winning in this for Warner Brothers. This is an inherited problem for myself. The hope is that the scandal will remain at a low level before the movie is released, and hope for the best to turn out." Well, the actor Miller would have to keep his nose clean for the rest of that time, and he hasn't seemed really concerned about doing that.
See, here's the problem with a guy like him. Now he's got a reputation. So if he goes out in public, people are going to be messing with him, trying to push his buttons, trying to get a reaction out of him.
Well, it's not going to take much from what I've heard.
And he's going to react. What a moron.
Yep. So the report says that Zavlov doesn't intend to have Miller be part of the MCU's big screen future after The Flash comes out. Any future scandals from the star will reportedly not influence the decision. Miller seems to be out. So,
if you want a guy to play the Flash, I know a guy.
Yep. So The Flash is expected to arrive in theaters on June 23rd of next year. So good luck keeping his nose clean for the next year. All right, so that is gonna do it for entertainment news this week. Hey, we're almost done. Then you get to do some cool stuff. All right. All right.
Do I get to do any cool stuff?
Maybe. All right. Now let's head back inside for some comic reviews and this month's Boxed Heroes. All right, so if you've never seen us do this before, we grade these comics on a 5-shield rating system. We give them each 2 scores, one for writing and story and the other one for artwork. And then we combine the 4 scores together to give it an average overall score. All right, so no mentions this week because we only had 5 comic books.
Yeah, we really didn't have a lot after the top 3 to talk about. And you know what was cool this week? No ties.
No ties.
None.
All right, so we got 3 comic books, our top 3. So first up,
number 3 is Do a Powerbomb. It's an Image book. It's about professional wrestling.
All right, so it follows a young wrestler who is also a mother, and she is the Tokyo Grand Pro Wrestling Champion. And apparently, in this wrestling circuit, men and women wrestle each other on equal footing.
Have at it.
Yeah. So she goes into a match, and there was a mistake made in the ring, as it happens fairly often, and she gets injured, and she ends up dying in the ring. So
right in front of her daughter.
Yeah. So 10 years later, little girl's all grown up, and her uncle and father are trying to keep her out of the business. And she's wrestling in one of the lower circuits, and she doesn't have a trainer, so she's kind of like, self-taught. And her family members are trying to keep her out of the business because of what happened to her mom. So then she's met by a mysterious man who tells her, "Hey, I want to make you world champion, and then also I can bring your mom back from the dead." So right at the end there, the story takes a hard left turn into science fiction or horror, supernatural. Yeah. So that's where we pick up. Story's interesting. The artwork is
It's pretty rough.
Yeah, not so great. But, the story is intriguing enough that I want to get the next issue at least. So, Do a Powerbomb, number 1 by Image Comics, comes in at
3 shields.
3 shields out of 5. All right, next up.
Next up, a book that we liked the first issue of, and we didn't mind the second one so much, obviously. This is from Boom Studios, Grimm number 2.
All right, so in the first issue of Grimm, a Reaper by the name of Jess is trying to escort a newly dead soul into the land of the dead, and he goes rogue, and he decides he's gonna steal her scythe, and he is going to try and talk to his old girlfriend, I think it was.
Bad move, dude.
Yep, because, the dead can't interact with the living, or at least that's what we thought. But then when Jess tries to stop him and take her sickle back, she becomes seen by the living for a brief time. And she's like, what the hell happened with that? So now she's trying to get answers from her bosses about what's going on. Now, apparently, other Reapers, they remember, when they died. Most people do. They remember the moment of their death. Jess does not. She can't remember how she died. So now she's trying to get answers from that, and, she thinks the two things are related. And so she goes on a mission to find out, and the story goes from there. So, a lot of people are saying how Grimm might be the next Something is Killing the Children. So, so far, we're intrigued. So, could be. All right, so Grimm number 2 from Boom Studios, our number 2 pick for this week.
Rounded up to 3.5 shields.
3.5 shields out of 5. All right, and then that brings us to number 1.
Number 1, if you remember, we talked about Sam Wilson's comic, Captain America, Symbol of Truth. Well, this is our old boy Steve Rogers' comic. He gets a new number 1, and this is Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty.
All right. So we follow Steve Rogers, who's trying to, get back into the, normal swing of things, or at least as normal as it can be for him. So he rents his old apartment. And when I say old apartment, I mean his old apartment from the 1920s, before he got the super soldier serum. And, he comments how if people knew that he lived here in the 1920s, the Smithsonian would have turned it into a museum. But enough of his past is classified that it's not public knowledge where he used to live. So he takes us through his everyday routine, and he says that he begins every morning with a jog around the island. And when I say the island, I mean the island of Manhattan. 31 miles.
Jog.
Yeah. And he always takes the shield with him. He jogs with his shield, which at first I thought was kind of strange, but then he explains why. That people, when they see the shield, they don't see him. They see the shield. And he thinks that it brings joy and community when people see it. And he also says that the shield belongs to everyone, not just him. So, okay. I'll buy that, Steve. So, him and a couple...
You do realize that even if he's clocking a 4-minute mile, which back in his early days they would have told him it was not possible to do, but even if he's clocking a 4-minute mile, that's a 2-hour run. 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people work out for 2 hours, so, that's...
I just can't imagine running fast for 2 hours.
Well, during some of his downtime, he uncovers a code from an old radio transmission, and it sounds like there might be a plot against a terrorist attack being planned for the July 4th celebration in Times Square. So he gets Bucky and he heads down there and he watches over the event, and turns out, sure enough, that someone is planning a terrorist attack. A guy by the name of the Destroyer.
Good name.
Yeah, and he's looking to cause all kinds of havoc, and he's got some personal vendetta against Captain America and everything he stands for. So, one thing that I always thought that was kind of interesting in this issue was the command the respect that Captain America commands, not just from military and other superheroes, but just from the general public. Because
damn Skippy.
At one point during the fight, it's happening up on top of the buildings, and Cap has been hit down to the near ground level, and he sees a balloon in the parade.
Like a big balloon.
Yeah, big balloon. And he says to the lead guy of the people, are holding all the ropes for the balloons, and he says, "You there, I need you to release that balloon." And the guy, no hesitation, no follow-up question, the guy says, "You heard Captain America, boys, let it fly."
And you gotta realize that a balloon like that ain't cheap.
No. So, I got a kick out of that part. So, we see that there is a greater conspiracy afoot with the Destroyer, and Cap and Bucky are going to work to uncover that, it seems. So, intrigued by the next issue, Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty, #1, ends up at our #1 spot with
3.5 shields.
3.5 shields out of 5. All right, so there is our recommendations for last week's comics. Get them at your local comic shop if you haven't already. Now, what do we have going on this week?
Well, this week is totally different from the week we just wrapped up and the week before. We got a long list of comics.
Okay.
There is a ton of comics coming out. A couple of Batman titles. Batman Superman World's Finest #4. Batman the Knight #6. I've been enjoying that. DC's got a new book out called Black Adam #1. I bet you The Rock gets a copy of that.
That probably.
Absolutely. We've got Gunslinger Spawn #9.
Okay.
See what's up with our boy. Nocterra #11. That story's just been ramping up. And there's a lot more. There's Punisher War Journal Blitz #1. Curious about that one. For you, your group, All in Firefly, the all new Firefly #5 comes out.
Okay.
Bunch of good stuff. We should have a good fun time.
Okay. So they're out today. If you're watching this on Wednesday, so head to your local comic book shop now. All right, so that is that is it for our recommendations and grades. So let's go into what we got in the mail today.
Mail call.
All right, so today we got our boxed heroes for the month of June in the mail today, and we're about to unbox it here.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you, EMoney.
Uh-huh.
I get a kick out of this.
Yeah.
The suspense of seeing what we got.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of times we don't get anything great out of it, but it's all good, solid stuff, good condition.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's in a Mylar, which, you can't beat that.
Yep.
So, yeah, I enjoy this. This is fun.
All right, so if you don't know, Boxed Heroes is a monthly mystery box that you can get a subscription of. It comes with about 10 comic books, and it's all different every week. Full disclosure, though, a lot of it is recent stuff that's come out in the last month or so, but every now and then you get something special.
Well, they usually include 2 to 3 older books, like at least 10 years old.
Right.
A lot of it's, like you said, it's still available in the comic shops. You can go pull it off the wall. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times with all the different variants that come out, even if we get a book we already have, odds are it's a different variant. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's fun.
So you can go to boxedheroes.com and you can get a single box just to see how you like it. Or you can get a monthly subscription, and with that you get a subscriber bonus box every month.
And usually the bonus book, not box.
That's it, book.
But the bonus book is a lot of times the best one in there.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's see what we got this month. All right, so we got a couple extra goodies with every box. We got a sticker here. It's Spider-Man right there. Then we have, it's made to look like a passport. It's Silver Sable and the Wild Pack passport. And
that's got some years on it.
Yeah. It says coming soon in April from Marvel Comics, circa 1991, right there.
Ah, the 90s.
Yeah. All right, and then we have a Vision trading card right there. That's from Upper Deck. Then we have a Looney Tunes trading card. A little different there. And then you have information of how you can win a free comic book. You have 2 chances to win. One by following Box Heroes on social media, and you can tag them in a post on your social media from Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
Okay. It's time to look at some comic books.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right, so shut up. All right, so the subscriber bonus box is always facing the opposite way, so we gotta flip these over. Remove the box, and then flip the bottom one over. No peeking. All right, let's see what we have this month. First up, we have Something is Killing the Children, number 23.
No, we don't have that because we don't usually get that.
All right.
All right.
Then we have the Department of Truth, number 18, and it's a
sketch copy.
Sketch copy.
So if you take it to a convention, you get one of the artists or writers to sign it or draw a picture on it.
Okay, so
it's considered a variant.
So it's an assignment when you get this issue.
I guess more or less, yeah.
All right. So next up we have a variant. It says it's a Jung-Gyeon scroll variant. Okay. This is Hulk number 7 scroll variant. All right. Then we have another scroll variant. This is the Salvador LaRocca scroll variant, and it's Amazing Spider-Man number 3 right there.
Another case that we have it, but we do not have that cover.
Right. Then, Peach Momoko, someone that we have a few copies from her. I actually have my Daredevil first Elektra as Daredevil issue in Peach Momoko variant. All right, this one is Jane Foster, The Mighty Thor, number 1, Peach Momoko variant.
A book we have, but not that one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look here. It says winner.
Oh, last time we got that, it was something pretty cool. What we got?
Let's see.
What we got?
It's probably not a holy grail, but it's something that usually goes in our good book collection.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so this is... Oh, okay. It is Ghost Rider number 1 from 1989. So...
Good book.
Yep.
Probably, let me see. Soft. A couple of corners are just slightly soft, so I can't call it mint. It's not a 9.8, but I'm guessing that'd be about a $20 to $25 comic book.
Okay.
Rock on.
All right. So Ghost Rider number 1. Then nothing on here. This is X-Man number 27. Not X-Men, X-Man, and it's from 1997. I told you guys before, any X book, especially if it's not X-Men, any X book from the 90s, it's usually probably end up in your dollar bin. So, not positive on that one, but probably a pretty safe bet, right?
If not dollar, it's a $2 book.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, next up. Oh, okay, I walked right into that one. X Factor.
You did that to yourself. You jinxed us.
X Factor number 11. I don't think it's a 90s because the cover price is $2.99.
That looks like the series that started 2006 maybe.
Yeah, but still, I mean, X Factor probably not going to be much. All right,
You blew that.
Yeah.
That's all on you.
Then next up is... okay, I really walked into it, didn't I?
Oh, man.
The X-Men and the Micronauts. Number 2.
One? Not even number 1.
Yeah. Number 2 in a 4-issue limited series. Again, not 90s. This is from 83. But
it's also not worth a lot.
yeah. So, yeah, that's fun. And then finally, our subscriber bonus book. It is a Warren Lau variant. And it is Poison Ivy number 1.
A book we have, but still kind of cool.
We might have, I think we have this variant, don't we?
Maybe.
All right, so
now that looks better.
yeah. All right, so there is our June Box Heroes. Again, if you want to try it out for yourself, go to boxheroes.com, get a one-time box or a regular subscription. All right, so that is this month's Box Heroes. Now, let's go into this weekend's pop-up comic shop preview. All right, so our pop-up comic shop is this Saturday, June 25th. And it starts at 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. We're gonna have all kinds of cool stuff for you guys. We have comic books starting at $1, and they go up from there. And we have all kinds of great keys for you guys. And we're gonna have toys, action figures, lots of great comic book related board games, and we're gonna have DVDs and Blu-rays, like all kinds of cool stuff.
And we'll be open, rain or shine.
Rain or shine.
Or heat.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and it's gonna be in the garage, so you'll be in the shade. We'll have the fan going. It's gonna be as cool as you can be without actual air conditioning. Okay. All right. So what do we have at this sale? Well, I told you guys what we have already, but just to give you guys just a small preview of what you can expect at this week's pop-up shop. First, I have a couple comic books here. So this one, it's been pretty popular lately because we've actually sold a few of these already this season.
Sold several of them.
Yep.
I keep finding more.
Mm-hmm. Spider-Man 2099 number 1. And it's a pretty sought-after comic book right now.
Seems pretty hot.
Because Spider-Man 2099, I think, is going to be making his big screen debut in the next Into the Spider-Verse movie coming up, I think. It looks that way.
Alternate reality stuff. I'm not a fan.
I mean, he had a small tease at the very end of the first one, so I think he's going to be making a bigger splash in the next one. Then we have, I talked about the X books, X Factor, and X Force, and all that stuff. This one is actually pretty important. This is X Factor number 6, and it's the first full appearance of Apocalypse. So if you're a collector of X-Men villains, that's a pretty important one to have right there.
Anybody who says 90s comics is all crap, they're wrong.
I mean,
Mostly
a lot of it is crap. A lot of it is crap. Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Not all.
But there's a few gems in there. All right. Then finally, we just got this one in this past week. We have from DC Comics. The Demon number 1, and this is the first appearance of Etrigan the Demon and Jason Blood. So we have this one. We sold one, I think, last season, so it's a fairly popular book right now. So get it get it this weekend, I should say.
All right. How many of y'all know what is different about the way Etrigan the Demon talks? If you know, comments. Let's see who knows.
A couple of versions they don't play into that, like in the animated Justice League, they didn't do this thing that the old man's talking about.
Lazy writers. That's all it is.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so there is a preview of your comic books for this weekend. Now, on to some toys/action figures. So, who here is a fan of 80s sci-fi? Because I have a couple things from that era.
Live action sci-fi or animated sci-fi?
Well, that depends. What do you call puppet stuff?
Puppet.
Okay, so it's not live action, it's not animated, it's puppet. Or at least one of these is.
And in most cases, garbage.
Okay.
But
all right, so
some
I
people
have,
disagree.
like I said, I have some obscure sci-fi stuff for you right here. 80s sci-fi. First up, we have a couple figures from the TV show Jerry Anderson and Christopher Burr's Terrahawks.
Well, pretty sure they didn't go through all the names. They just said it was Terrahawk.
Mm-hmm. And this is from Bandai Studios, the same studio that brought you Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So this is Lieutenant Hero, and I actually looked this up because I wasn't sure what it was, and then I read the premise, and I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting, and then I saw pictures, and I saw it was like puppets, and I'm like, oh, okay. And that's not for me, that's not my sort of thing, but maybe it's your thing.
So you weren't a big fan of Team America?
No, I was not, no.
Me neither.
All right, so here we have Lieutenant Hero. Then we have Lieutenant Hawkeye, another Hawkeye.
There's been a few.
Yeah, so there's been Marvel's Hawkeye, there's been MASH Hawkeye, and then there's been Daniel Day-Lewis Hawkeye from The Last of the Mohicans.
Well, there was a movie before that, but none of y'all gonna remember that.
Okay, did I cover them all?
As far as I know.
Okay, so then we have another Hawkeye from Terrahawks, right there. Then, from what I can only surmise is the villain of the show, based on looks and, the short premise I looked up, Zelda, right there, from Terrahawk. So, all these three are going to be available at this week's shop, but I have more obscure 80s sci-fi for you. So, take these away, take one of these away, just put that over there. So, another obscure show is Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future. Now, I actually looked at this, and this actually is kind of interesting. I never saw it, but the screenshots I saw, they look kind of exciting, and it looks like it was a fairly big budget show for its time. So, this is okay. These are the villains. These two figures I have here. This is Blastar Ground Guardian right here, and there's actually another figure called the Sauron Sky Sentry. I actually had this figure for a long time. It was in my personal action figure collection. It was loose. I had no idea where this thing came from.
We researched it. We couldn't figure out what it was from.
Yeah. So that was in our collection for a long time. Finally, we figured it out like a couple years ago. So don't have that one anymore, but we have these, and now we know where it's from. Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future. So this is the Blastar Ground Guardian. And then this guy, who I can only surmise is the big baddie in the show. This is Lord Dread.
With that name, pretty safe bet. He's the main bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it.
Yep.
Or he's the #1 lieutenant.
Yeah. So, Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future. Some more obscure 80s sci-fi. These two also are going to be available this weekend. All right. So, next up we have not 80s sci-fi, but something older and a little obscure. Put that in there. Who here is a fan of the classic Dick Tracy cartoon series? Or not cartoon series, it was a comic strip. Yeah.
News strip in the newspaper.
So,
also, Warren Beatty starred as Dick Tracy in a movie.
And Madonna, right? Okay, so if you know anything about Dick Tracy, the villains didn't have the most creative names. They were just pretty much a description of what they looked like and I guess that was intentional by the writers.
If you had a scar, they made the scar just ridiculously ugly, and you would have been called Scarface.
Right. So I guess that was intentional by the writers, just to keep things simple.
It was style.
So we have a couple of the gangsters from Dick Tracy right here. First up, we have the Tramp, which is actually a more unique name than most of them here. So there's the Tramp. Then you have Flat Top, pretty self-explanatory.
Who's he remind you of?
One of the Three Stooges.
No, Spider-Man villain.
Hammerhead?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then you have Itchy. Just Itchy, I guess. He scratches a lot. Which,
Seen a guy like that down the bus stop the other day.
yeah, I mean, that usually means he's high on something. All right, then we have Prune Face. Because his face looks like a prune. And he doesn't do himself any favors. He wears purple. So, and then finally we have the Brow, because he has a bunch of wrinkles on his head that give him a furrowed brow. So, like I said, not the most creative names. So we have all these gangsters from Dick Tracy available at this week's pop-up shop. And we're going to have a ton of other stuff, too.
Ton.
Yeah. We have stuff from Spawn. We have stuff from Toy Biz, X-Men, and Spider-Man figures. We're going to have Marvel Legends, all kinds of cool stuff.
And I don't know if I told you, but between filming and the pop-up shop on Saturday, we're getting in a pretty huge collection of toys.
Yep.
Pretty big.
And horror movie icons. And now we also have just movie icons, because we have a couple figures that are not horror related.
Snake Plissken.
Yeah, I showed you guys last week. We still have Snake Plissken and Shaft and Marv from Sin City. We have all those figures plus horror movie icons.
I'm just talking about Shaft.
Yeah, exactly.
We could dig it.
So, find all those this Saturday, June 25th, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., 7002 Brookbend Way. All right, we'll see you guys then, we hope.
Be there or be square.
All right, now, speaking of the garage, let's head back outside and see what Thor's up to.
Have we looked into getting air conditioning for the garage?
Be a little expensive.
Man, it gets hot out there.
All right, back out here in the garage with Thor. All right, so for today's doggy challenge, I found myself a doggy translator app, and we're going to go through a few emotions here and see how Thor responds to it. Then I'm going to say a few things into the app and see the app translate it, and see how Thor feels about that. All right?
Are you ready for lunch?
This is our doggy challenge video of the week. All right, so this is a dog conveying happy. So start with a good emotion for Thor. All right, ready? Happy? Happy? Okay. How about a dog laughing? You like hearing a dog laughing? That didn't sound like laughing, but okay. How about summer? I don't know how summer is an emotion, but let's see what that sounds like.
We don't like summer anyway.
How about kissy?
Why don't you growl at him, see what happens?
All right. How about angry?
This is where you bite him.
How about grumpy? Hungry? Are you hungry? All right, let's try the translator here. Would you like to go walkies?
You ain't falling for none of this, are you? Not a lick.
Would you like a treat? It sounds like a lot of the same here, so yeah.
I'll give you a treat.
How about, I don't know what sleepy sounds like. Okay, well, it seems Thor was fooled by none of that, and this app is not worth its money. I got it for free. So, still not getting my money's worth out of it.
Nope.
All right.
You don't play that, do you?
No. All right, so that was our donkey challenge video of the week. All right, comic lovers, so that is our show. Hope you had a good time, and we're going to be back here in the garage this coming Saturday, so join us 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. for our pop-up comic shop. We got comic books, we got, you see the toys back there, we're going to have DVDs over here, you know, all kinds of cool stuff for you guys, so come check us out. Comic books start at $1 and go up from there. All right, so come join us once more. Hey, buddy. Hey, we're almost out of here. All right, so come join us then, and be sure to subscribe. We're trying to get 1,000 subscribers. We're about a little under 150 short right now, so you know we're plodding along slowly. So be sure to subscribe. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Excelsior.
All right, true believers. The heat wave's coming back next week. It's going to be a blast furnace out here. Now, I want you to remember something when you're taking your animals out. If you take your shoes off and you go walk on the sidewalk or the street, whatever, asphalt, and it doesn't hurt, so can your dog. If it burns your feet, it'll burn your animals. Use your common sense, please.